Power BI Business Intelligence. Before I start the actual Power BI demonstration, I want to spend a couple of minutes setting the context. Most organizations start their reporting journey with Excel. Excel is very useful and continues to be an important reporting tool. But as the organization grows, reporting also becomes more complex and the projects keep on adding more stakeholders, more data sources, and more reporting requirements. Someone has to collect the information, prepare it, and consolidate it and distribute across. This is where business intelligence becomes important. BI is about turning raw business data into meaningful information and insights that can support better decisions. Power BI helps us to make that journey more automated, interactive, and centralized. So the goal is not just to create reports, but the goal is to turn data into insights and support decisions. So where does Power BI fit into this? Let's quickly look at Power BI ecosystem. The Power BI ecosystem is an end-to-end business intelligence platform where we can build, publish, manage, and consume insights. Power BI Desktop is primarily the development environment, and this is where developers, analysts typically connect to data, transform it, create models, and write DAX and build reports in Power BI Desktop. This is one major component in Power BI ecosystem. The second component is Power BI Service. It is the cloud platform where those reports are published, managed, refreshed, and secure and shared. And the third component is Power BI Mobile, where it allows business users to consume the reports and dashboards from mobile services, from mobile devices. For today's demo, let's focus more on Power BI Service. So desktop is primarily where we build. Service is where we manage, share, and consume enterprise analytics. So let's go directly into the Power BI service in the next slide. So the Power BI service, if we look into it, is the cloud-based environment where our Power BI solution becomes available to the organization. Think of Power BI service as a central hub for enterprise reporting. Once reports are developed, they can be published here. From here, we can organize them into workspaces, manage semantic models, configure, refresh, control access, share reports, and monitor usage. So Power BI service is much more than simply a place where we view a report. It provides the operational layer around enterprise analytics. So for a business user, they don't necessarily need to understand how the report was technically developed, but they need to know where to find it, how to use it, and how to interpret the information. So let's start with one of the most concepts in the service, that is workspace. Workspace reporting hub. This is where the reporting assets are organized and managed. Here we can have reports, semantic models, dashboards, and other Power BI content. The important concept is centralization. Instead of reports being stored on individual laptops or being exchanged through email, we have a common environment where the team manages its reporting assets. Workspace also support control, access, and collaboration. And next we can have this slide regarding the reports, dashboard reports, and business analysis. This should be like in this demo we can have Let's look at the perspective of a manager, where how are we performing, and he wants to see the KPIs. You can immediately see the high level metrics here. And I may ask like which project is contributing to this, so we can filter them and we can drill into the more information. This is where Power BI becomes different from a static reports. The stakeholder can interact with the data instead of waiting for someone to prepare another version of the report. For engineering, this gives stakeholders the ability to look at the sprint performance, delivery trends, and other metrics interactively. So the reports allow stakeholders to move from simply seeing information to exploring and analyzing it. But not every stakeholder needs this level of detail. Leadership often needs much simpler view. And in dashboard also, we can see the executive view. We can see the KPIs, health of the project, velocity, capacity and utilization, trends, key exceptions. So where we monitor that data. A report can contain multiple pages and detailed information. Dashboard brings important information together so that users can quickly understand the overall situation. For example, in our dashboard, which we have developed, leadership want to know about velocity. They want to know about the capacity. They want to know about the utilization, the overall delivery health. They can just view from here. They need the important signals that tell them where things are going well and where they may need to ask questions. So the next slide here is lineage view, data dependencies, where here we can understand how the data flows across Power BI. Imagine this semantic model is being used by multiple reports. What happens if we change something in the model? How do we know what reports may be impacted? So then this is where lineage view becomes very useful. Here we can see the relationship between the different components of our reporting environment. Data comes from the source. It feeds the semantic model. The semantic model supports reports, and these reports may support the dashboards or apps. So we can go to the next slide for the next concept, schedule, refresh, and gateway. So here in the schedule and refresh and gateway, dashboard is only useful if the information behind it is current. Like imagine looking at a delivery dashboard that hasn't been refreshed for several weeks. This visualization may look great, but the decision could be wrong. So we need to have refreshed, latest refreshed data, so that the Power BI service provides schedule refresh capabilities so that data can be updated according to the configured schedule. And let me explain about the gateway also at high level. For certain data sources that are inside an organization or in a private network, on-premises data, gateway provides the connectivity needed for supported refresh scenarios. So here the goal is to reduce manual intervention. You don't want someone to manually prepare the same reporting package every reporting cycle. When we onboard a new project, establishing the appropriate data connection and refresh process allows that project to become part of the same reporting operating model. And let's go to the next slide for the next topic, sharing and apps. There is one more option in Power BI service that we need to share the insights, empower everyone. Here in this data, it is a centralized reporting, doesn't mean everyone should see everything. Imagine we have several projects, leadership may need an overall view, while individual project manager may only need access to their own project. So we have given the row level security or RLS, which allows the data presented to users to be restricted based on the defined rules. So in organization, as the number of project increases, this becomes particularly important. We want one scalable reporting platform, but we also want appropriate access controls. So centralization gives us scale, security gives us the control. Going to the next slide, So usage metrics. Here in the usage metrics, the question that is often overlooked is we build the dashboard, but are people actually using it? We need to know. So publishing a report doesn't automatically mean that it has delivered value, because we need to know actually who are consuming it, and who are actually viewing the dashboard, who are actually um, having some questions on it, and how they are adapting to these dashboards. We need to know. So this usage metrics helps us understand how people are consuming or reporting assets. So we can look at users and trends to understand adoption. And for us, this helps shift the conversation from did we build the dashboard to is the dashboard actually helping our stakeholders. So when we onboard a new project, adoption is also part of success. We want the project team to actually use the dashboard in their delivery discussions and stakeholder communication. So a successful dashboard is not just delivered, it is adapted. Let's go next slide. There is Power BI Mobile. This is the third component in the Power BI ecosystem. The reporting journey doesn't end at the desktop or the browser. Business users may be traveling while we are traveling, or attending meetings, or working away from their desks. Power BI Mobile provides another way to consume dashboards and reports. If you can show the mobile experience, we can just show this in a real-time demo how the Power BI Mobile can be um, used. So the important message is that business insights are available where the business user needs them. So far we have looked at what Power BI service can do, and we can also adapt to new projects as well, which are the when the projects are growing, stakeholders are growing, so we can adopt them in very decent, or it's a very um, with low manual intervention, with less time, we can actually um, onboard new projects. So the future onboarding with Power BI. So it's like um, before actually we have done a success story. We started with one project, and then we are now adopting uh, three, and then four, and it went to seven projects. We are actually making use of this Power BI desktop, Power BI dashboards, reports, Power BI service, and still it is counting. And we also looking forward for any of the team members, for any of the projects. If you really want to make use of this Power BI business intelligence and insights, you're most welcome. We are we are this is one of the biggest benefits of having this framework, is what happens when I bring a new project on board. Let's say tomorrow another engineering project approaches us and say we would like to use the same reporting capability. So then here what we need to do, the next steps. We don't have to start by hiring a Power BI developer or building their own dashboard from scratch. We can just provide whoever want to adopt this, they can just provide the required data through the agreed centralized location, and from there we understand what data is available and what reporting requirements you all have, and we then map their data into the existing reporting framework. Where necessary, we customize the model, metrics, reports, and dashboards based on their specific requirements. So once that is configured, we can provide the dashboards and reports to the project team. The project team doesn't need to know the technical Power BI skills behind the solution. We help them understand how to navigate to the dashboards, how to interpret the metrics, and how to use the information in their stakeholder conversations. So the project team can focus on managing delivery, focus on their executions, while the reporting capability provides them with the information they need. So this is where I see the real value of the framework. If every new project requires us to start from scratch, the reporting solution would not scale. But if we have a common framework, a reusable model, and standardized reporting patterns, then onboarding new project becomes much quicker. We can standardize what should be common and customize what is specific to each project. So standardize the foundation, customize the experience, scaling the report. So let's close. So if I summarize today's demonstration, we started with the business problem of turning data into insights. We looked at the Power BI ecosystem and focused on Power BI service. We saw how workspaces organize our reporting environment, how reports support analysis, and how dashboards provide executive visibility, how lineage helps us understand dependencies, and how refresh security, sharing, and usage metrics makes the solution enterprise ready. And finally, we have connected the capabilities to the projects which we have a successful journey. So the real value is that we are not just creating individual dashboards, we are creating a reusable reporting capability that can be extended to new projects. So your new project can provide the required data. We can customize the reporting based on their needs, and we can enable them to use the dashboards with their stakeholders without requiring them to become the Power BI experts. That's the journey from reporting to analytics and from individual dashboards to a scalable enterprise reporting capability. So let's build together, reuse, customize as per your requirements, and scale.